Hi, this is Carlton Cullins, and welcome to the Blue Sky Strong Box. Hey, this is Carlton, and this week I want to talk a little bit about pain and injuries. It's something that should be taken very seriously, and it's something that has a lot of different connotations. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Pain, for the most part, is not desirable. You know, in the fitness world, it's believed that there's pain that is brought on by just general uncomfortableness that occurs when you do exercise and certain movements. That's just the way it is. And then there's pain that is due to injuries. Now, obviously, pain due to injuries is something to be taken very seriously, and you need to be cautious. You might need to go to the doctor. You might even need surgery. These are things that are very serious. Sometimes it's hard for people to distinguish what is pain, what is bad pain, what is injured, and what is just general uncomfortableness from exercise. Now, first and foremost, I myself and most trainers, most physical therapists, a lot of people are not qualified doctors. Even doctors don't know about injuries sometimes until they put them under a microscope and maybe do an x-ray or an MRI or something like that. So sometimes you really need to seek out the specific qualified person for an area that is injured. But backing away from that, we need to first and foremost learn to listen to your body. If something is hurting, we need to figure out why. You know, a lot of people have different levels of pain threshold. Sometimes people's pain threshold allows them to really understand and feel that there's something wrong with their body that's not right and that it actually might be injured. And you can also distinguish whether or not it's just general uncomfortableness from pain. Working out sometimes and often is not going to be comfortable. It's actually going to hurt a little bit. But there is a good pain and a bad pain. You know, we always hear that no pain, no gain BS, but you know, there is some truth to that, and there is some falseness to it. You know, so you've got to learn to listen to your body, and everybody's different. Now, if you're doing an exercise, you've already warmed up, and you're doing an exercise, and it hurts to do that exercise, stop. That is your body telling you to stop. Now, there is a difference between whether it's uncomfortable or it hurts. Now, exercise is going to be uncomfortable. For those of you who might be starting, sometimes those of you who have a lot of experience, if you've ever done an exercise that you haven't done in a long time, or maybe a brand new exercise, it's probably going to be uncomfortable. But there is definitely a distinguished point between pain that's bad and pain that is good. You've got to learn to find that out, you know. If you haven't worked out ever, or you haven't worked out in a while, or you've been working out for a long time and you just did a new exercise you haven't ever done, you might the next day or a couple of days after get what's called DOMS, and that stands for Delayed Onset Muscle Soreness. It's very, very common. It's due to very microscopic tears in the muscle. You might also have what's called lactic acid buildup. It's a byproduct of working out, particularly in eccentric movements. The negative movements of exercise cause a lot of lactic acid buildup and microscopic tears. This is normal. If you rest and recover right, typically they heal within 2 or 3 days. If you're brand new to exercise, it might take a few more days than that. If it lasts more than a week or two, typically you have probably strained something and you might need to just take it easy a little bit. Strains typically will heal if you didn't actually tear them tear them all apart. Strains will typically heal. Use ice when something is swelling, but definitely just learn to keep an eye on things. Learn to listen to your body. That's the most important thing I can say about pain. I trained a doctor years ago. I've trained a few doctors actually, and you know, they had the same thing to tell me. They told me that you know, if something hurts, you need to pay attention to it. If there's a lightning strike, like a pinpoint type pain, that's really bad, and that's your nerves telling your body to stop immediately. So if you ever get that lightning strike pain, that's bad. You need to very much pay attention to that, and if that keeps occurring, you need to go to the doctor and seek a qualified professional, not just a general practitioner. General practitioners don't have much experience with a lot of these things. You need to go to a specialist that's qualified to make a prognosis that's going to be correct, because there's a lot of bad opinions out there, even in the medical community. So if I haven't convinced you enough, I didn't mean to confuse you today. Just learn to listen to your body. But also understand that there's going to be some uncomfortable and some pain. You're just going to have to deal with that, you know. That just be tough. Tough it up. But don't hurt yourself. Warm up before exercises. Use the foam rolling techniques. If something is tight, stretch it. But make sure you're warmed up. If you're constantly sore and working out all the time, you're probably not resting and recovering enough between workouts. So you might want to make your workouts a little less frequent. That has a lot to do with people staying sore all the time. You shouldn't be sore all the time. That is a bad thing. If you work out all the time, I work out all the time. I'm not sore every day. That's an illusion. People come to me and they train and they think that if they're not sore after a workout, they didn't get a good workout. Let me tell you, that's a myth. Now, I do get sore from time to time, but it should not be all the time. I repeat, you should not be sore all the time. That is a bad thing. It's not any way to live this life. So, do things. Get massages. Take warm baths when you're sore. Rest, recover, eat properly, and listen to your body. That's my tips for this week. I also want to recommend, I saw this the other night. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. This documentary, Food Incorporated. If you have not seen this, you should check it out. It's pretty, you'd be pretty surprised at some of the things they talk about in here. It's definitely good. If you eat in America, you need to know some of the stuff that's in this documentary, regardless of your political affiliation, your whatever. You should check this out, as I think it's important for us as Americans to make better choices on the food that we want. Anyway, that's enough. I'll get off my little soapbox. Take care of each other. I'll see you next week. Bye.